There's a lot of people in media who have the ability to stretch themselves. You got Mr. Fantastic, who's smart and is like Marvel stretchy guy. You got Luffy, who's Shonen Jump stretchy guy. You got Jake the Dog, who's Cartoon Network stretchy guy. You got Elastigirl, aka Mrs. Incredible, who's Disney's stretchy girl. And you get the idea. There's just a crap ton of people who can stretch themselves in media, more than I think anybody really realizes. But there's one person who always seems to get forgotten. And that, of course, is Plastic Man. Plastic Man first appeared in August 1941, which he is by far one of the oldest characters in fiction who's able to stretch themselves. He may even be the first one, I don't know. That's probably not true though, and there's probably some dude in the comments named like Infinite Knowledge 420 who's going to be like, hey, some dude named Mr. Stretch in like 1702 was like the first stretchy guy, and it was like Abe Lincoln's favorite comic book or whatever. You get the point. Point is, Plastic Man has been around for a while, and the question I was asking myself when researching this was, how come Plastic Man is never really brought up? And when you think about of a lot of people with these powers, Plastic Man is not likely on your list. I did quite a bit of reading for Plastic Man, and I did know about him only because of Batman the Brave and the Bold, the cartoon series on Cartoon Network, which isn't praised enough. I feel like a lot of people talk about Batman shows, and when Brave and Bold comes up, nobody really ever has that much to say about it. Or when they do have something to say about it, it's just like, yeah, it was cool. It introduced a whole bunch of DC people, which is true. But I feel like there's a lot more to the show, and I actually just really love it. This was my first exposure to Plastic Man, and I have to say, I didn't really like him that much at first. My baby brain, for some reason, couldn't get past the idea that he was just a copycat of a bunch of other characters, and I didn't like that. I didn't like that he was a copycat character, which obviously I know is wrong now, but baby brain back then didn't like that because they were like, yeah, Plastic Man's just Mr. Fantastic and he's just a copycat, which, like I said, baby brain. I don't know why I thought that was like the reason why I didn't like Plastic Man was because I thought he was just a copycat. No other reason why to hate him. In my time researching Plastic Man, I realized that the idea that he's just a clone of other stretchy characters was far, far from the truth. Especially with his origin story, which is he was originally a criminal who was on a heist when he was shot and fell into a vat of unknown chemicals and liquids. Then he gained the ability to mold his body to however he pleases. I feel like out of all of their stretchy characters that exist, he is by far the most unique and also one of the most OP, which is crazy to think about because, like I said, Plastic Man really isn't on people's list, but when you actually notice his abilities do, you realize how OP and cool this guy really is. Like, for example, one of his abilities is that he's able to bring himself back together from being torn apart, and he can survive some insane stuff. If you really want to know about his powers, I would recommend looking up a video because there's plenty of videos talking about how OP Plastic Man is, and honestly, I would recommend it because you really don't understand how OP this guy is until you watch those videos. Like, man can take hits from Superman. He literally fought Darkseid, which is like literally an OP god. So this man has some crazy abilities. And also too, the way that he uses his abilities is just so cool. And honestly, I salute the comic book writers for using his abilities in the coolest ways possible. Plastic Man's stretch feels like it has no limits. He can expand himself into massive amounts. He can form into anything. He can look like anyone. And these powers allow for some amazing, gorgeous visuals. And some of the most creative ways people can use this stretch ability. His power set and the way he uses it makes him instantly more interesting than some of the other characters that have stretchy abilities. And also, it really just allows him to have no limits. They really use his abilities to the max and beyond, and I love it from a visual standpoint because it feels like he's like no other character and instantly allows Plastic Man to stand out from not just other stretchy people, but also like other DC heroes in general. Also wanted to talk about the more interesting story that is Plastic Man. More often than not, Plastic Man is seen as nothing more than just a gag character or a jokester that no one ever really finds funny. And what I feel like DC does with a lot of these C-list characters is just kind of make them feel like a gag character. I went to my local comic book shop for some Plastic Man comics, which, by the way, support your local comic book shops. They're awesome, they're amazing, and most of the time, they're really nice people. And I ended up having a lovely conversation with the owner of the store about how DC treats their less popular characters. The Cliff Notes is that DC really doesn't know what to do with these characters, and more often than not, they get thrown to the wayside for a long time, and then eventually they'll get a short series then nothing for years again. And it's really sad considering that a lot of these characters, including Plastic Man, often have a lot of story and they can offer a whole bunch of cool stuff, but they get pushed to the side for years. And let's just say Plastic Man is an interesting case because I feel like there are so many cool stories and things that he could do in his own series, but like I said, he's just been thrown to the wayside for years. Like I stated before, Plastic Man was a criminal who got his powers and decided to leave that life of crime behind him and be a hero. And this sounds like it could be really, really generic in your typical run-of-the-mill story, but what makes Plastic Man so interesting is that he struggles leaving that life behind him. He is a big womanizer, and he oftentimes just goes with his urges, and he always tries to, do the right thing, but like, if he stops a robber from stealing money, he might take a little bit off the top for himself. I mean, heroes need a little bit of money too, you know what I'm saying? At least that's his thought process. And I honestly love this, and I love the fact that he's constantly struggling with self-control, which I feel like is like something that somebody would really struggle with. You can't just expect somebody to be a bad guy and then instantly go to being a hero. It just really isn't realistic. And yes, I know I said realistic in a video when I'm talking about a guy who can stretch himself. But the one thing that makes comic books interesting is by combining the incredible with the real world. It's like the reason why you love Spider-Man, Daredevil, and a whole bunch of other characters. It's because you can see parts of yourself in them and their struggles and their challenges. And I feel like Plastic Man is definitely one of those characters. Plastic Man is constantly trying to do his best and to leave those urges and that life behind him. But it isn't something that comes easy to him. It isn't something that you can just flip on and off. He really, really works hard on becoming a good person and a good hero. And I think that's what makes Plastic Man so likable and so lovable. And I think that's why there's a cult following for Plastic Man, is because you can understand and sympathize with him like 99% of the time. A lot of times we see Plastic Man, he is constantly joking around and constantly making light of some dark and tough situations, which can come off as super annoying or him just being dumb or not taking anything seriously. But you can tell that it's his way of trying to fit in and be liked by the other heroes, because he knows he isn't the perfect hero like the others and he struggles with his issues. But deep down, he's doing his best. So sure, he can come off as annoying. When things are serious and people Plastic Man cares about are in trouble or getting hurt, he always comes and gives it his all. He does his best to help them. And there are times where Plastic Man is willing to take hits for other people and sacrifice himself to help the others. He's truly trying to change, but the struggles are still there. And like anyone trying to change, it's hard. There's a lot of times where people look down on Plastic Man for, all of his past crimes, and they see him as less than. But you have to understand, when someone's trying to change, you have to be willing to understand them and be willing to help them change. Sure, Plastic Man struggles, but at the end of the day, he makes the right choice even if it takes him a little bit longer than some of the other heroes. Although some people don't believe in Plastic Man or that he couldn't change at all, there's one person that believes in Plastic Man through and through, and that's Batman. And I love this dynamic between the two of them. Batman is always there to support Plastic Man, and whenever Plastic Man needs help knowing which thing is the right thing to do, Batman is always there. In one of the JLA comic books, Plastic Man asks Batman for some help, and Batman agrees, and so they go to this mother who's worried about her son because her son is joining a gang. And Batman asks, why is the son, joining a gang? And the mother believes it's because there's really no father figure in his life. And the reason that the gang wants the kid is because the kid has the ability to stretch. See where this is going? So you come to find out that they're actually helping Plastic Man's son. And so Batman asks Plastic Man why he hasn't been there for his son. And Plastic Man throws up, the jokes and the fake excuses. He was like, we're a hero, so he doesn't really have time for kids, and yada, yada, yada. And it really honestly feels messed up that Plastic Man is just like, yeah, didn't have time for the kid, so I'm just not going to be a father. But like with all of Plastic Man's humor, he's hiding his true feelings, which is the reason that he left his son behind is because he doesn't feel like he could be a good enough father. His dad was a loser, and he didn't want the same thing for his son, so he just completely left his life, which not only is he not a good person, not a good hero, but not a good dad. Batman tells him he'll help him out this one last time, and Plastic Man is instantly worried about how Batman sees him. But they go and they find Plastic Man's son, There, Batman scares him and tells him like joining a gang is bad and only being in a gang leads to death. And while Batman's talking to Plastic Man's son asks Batman if Plastic Man knows that he exists. And he starts crying because he just wants to see his dad, and he just wants to know that his dad cares about him and knows that he even exists. And Batman doesn't really answer, and he leaves. And when they get back to the watchtower, Batman tells Plastic Man that he always thought that he would have been the best dad out of everybody in the Justice League. And the reason why is because Batman knew that he would protect his children and make them laugh and always be there for them. Plastic Man just stands there, and Batman starts to walk away. And as he walks away, he tells Plastic Man that you always have a choice. I feel like that's the main point of Plastic Man, is the idea that you have a choice and the idea that you can change. And what I really like about Plastic Man's character is the idea that he struggles with the change. And it makes him feel more realistic and more likable because you understand the struggle of change and trying to improve yourself, especially around people who don't believe in you and don't believe that you can ever change. And it's really hard because you end up not believing in yourself. But I'm here to tell you that you can change, and it's hard, but it's worth it. You can always improve yourself. It's never too late. Plastic Man has some of the most unique powers and also one of the best hearts. Although Plastic Man screws up a lot, he's able to shake it off and keep pushing himself to become a better person. Even when no one believes in him, he's still able to be a hero and try his best because he wants to change and become a better person. I hope one day DC gives Plastic Man the room to grow and develop and give him a series. Give him a series, bro. Just give him one. He deserves it. His struggles and his insecurities make him one of the most relatable and likable characters in DC. And nobody really even cares about him. So today, I hope you found a new appreciation for Plastic Man, and I recommend going to read all of his stuff. His series has amazing art, it has amazing story, and honestly, I feel like you'll instantly fall in love with Plastic Man. Also, watch Batman the Brave and the Bold because Plastic Man is a crucial part of that show, and I absolutely loved it. I rewatched a whole bunch of episodes for this video, so I highly recommend it. And just remember this, guys. At the end of the day, even if no one believes in you, if you want to become a better person and improve yourself, you can. So just like Plastic Man, know that as long as you believe in yourself, as long as you truly want change, and as long as you want to keep improving yourself, you can. Even if no one believes in you, know I believe in you. And there's always, always a choice to become better and change yourself. Hey guys, another video, on the list. I hope you did like it. I decided to make this video because I put up a poll and said, hey, which video would you guys like to see next? Plastic Man was first place, Moon Knight was second place, and third place was Hawkeye, and fourth place was The Flash. And I know a lot of people want to see Hawkeye, so that video will be coming. I promise I'm making a Hawkeye video. I promise. But I will be also putting polls up there, so if you guys want to vote for, whatever episode you'd like me to make next about any character, please let me know. I'm also thinking about doing some manga-related stuff, videos like that, because I'm a huge anime manga guy too. I'm just a nerd, guys. Sorry. I'm just a nerd about everything. But also on those polls, you can put in the comments section, hey, I want to see a video about Beetle Dude from Earth 52 or something like that. Put it in the comments if you don't see the character you're looking for. I really do want to start building this community because I feel like it could really go somewhere, and I really appreciate all the support I'm getting from all of you guys. You guys are amazing, and you guys leave such nice comments, and you guys like the video, and we're getting a whole bunch of views. So please share it with your friends. I really appreciate it, and I hope to build the community with you guys because I'm honestly enjoying making these videos, and I'm enjoying all the conversations I'm having with you guys. That Punisher video was awesome. I just had a whole bunch of conversations with you guys, and it was amazing. So always leave a comment because I always look at all the comments. I have nothing better to do. But yeah, I just wanted to say thank you guys. I appreciate you so much, and I'm really enjoying exploring all these characters in a new light, and just hoping that you guys will love them too. So yeah, thanks a whole bunch, guys, and I hope you have a good rest of your day, and I hope you go read some comics about Plastic Man or something. I've been Canned Ideas, and you've been in your room, laying in your bed, watching a YouTube video. Bye.